week. I did the work, but I'm not sure about my answers.
Unfortunately, I'm kind of in the same boat, but hopefully we'll get through it.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of concepts that I just didn't understand.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and start. Question 1, which of the following is not correct? I got B.
I got B.
Yeah, I went through the other ones, and the other ones I'm pretty sure are correct. Inflation rate is measured as percentage change in price index. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
During the 19th century, there was long periods of falling prices. That's also true.
Correct.
And then some economists argue that costs of moderate inflation are not nearly as large as the general public believes, and that's also true.
Yeah.
So
I read all those three, so I. Sure.
Leo, you got 2, Leo?
Yeah. If the real interest rate is 6% and the price level is falling at a rate of 2%, what is the nominal interest rate? I got C, 8%.
Same. Yep. The real interest rate is real interest rate equals nominal interest rate minus inflation. Inflation is 2%.
Correct.
So 8 minus 2 is 6.
6%.
Yep. Lindsay, you got 3.
Okay. From the early 1980s through the 1990s, the nominal interest rate.
I got A.
I also got A. Yep.
Was this just in the book?
Yeah. I didn't write the page numbers down this time, but yeah, basically if you don't get inflation under control, it would have just kept going and going and going. And we would have seen hyperinflation, but the nominal interest rate, will just keep shooting up.
Okay.
If
I follow the same logic because I couldn't find it anywhere in the book.
I remember reading it, but it might have been in the
PowerPoint.
Well, no, because I remember reading it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, basically, they did get it under control, and the nominal interest rate was at the end of the 80s was already really high. So the nominal interest rate, I think the Fisher effect is a 1-for-1 adjustment of the nominal interest rate to the inflation rate. Yeah.
Yes.
So there was a it's on page 358. Shows the U.S. inflation and nominal interest rate, and so in the 80s, from 1980, it was really, really high, and then to the 90s they got it under control, and I think that it might even be.
A nominal interest rate, it only goes up, like you said, is related 1-on-1,
right,
with inflation. So if inflation goes up, nominal rate interest rate will go up, and vice versa. If it goes down with it, right? That's what I understood.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Because the one,
here it is.
The one that is not affected is real interest rate, right?
Wait, what was that?
The real interest rate is not affected by inflation.
It is. It is real. The real interest rate is the nominal interest rate minus inflation. Or sorry.
Yeah. So obviously it'll affect both. Okay.
Plus inflation, I think. Wait. Is
yes.
that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I found it's on page 358. It says nominal interest rate fell from the early 80s through the 90s because the government got inflation under control.
There you go.
Okay.
So, that's A. Number 4, the evidence from hyperinflations indicates that money growth and inflation, I put A, are positively related.
I got A.
Yeah, it's consistent with the quantity theory of money. Quantity theory of money basically says that if
It's kind of the follow-up of question 3.
Yeah, it just says that the price level and the growth rate and the quantity of money available determines the inflation rate. So hyperinflation, if it grows, if the money, the amount of money grows, inflation will also grow.
Absolutely.
Positively, related. Yep. So, hey.
Okay. On 5, it says if the CPI rises, the number of dollars needed to buy a representative basket of goods, I got B, increases, and so the value of money falls.
That's correct. Mm-hmm. The more dollars, the less those dollars are worth.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. On the graph, MS represents the money supply and MD represents money demand. The usual quantities are measured along the axis. Which of the following events could explain a shift of the money supply curve from MS1 to MS2?
I got C.
Yeah.
Same. Yep. They buy bonds. They're putting more money into the system, the economy. So it would move it from here to here. Number 7, open market purchases by the Fed make the money supply D.
I got B.
B. So, purchases, meaning that they're buying bonds, which is going to make it increase. Yep.
It'll increase the supply of money, right?
Yeah, it's B. Sorry.
That's okay. Okay. Number 8, if M equals 2,000, P 2.25, and Y 6,000, what is velocity? I got A.
Yeah. A. Yep. You just use the equation. Velocity equals P times Y over M. Gives you 6.75. Lindsay?
The price level is it real variable?
What'd you get?
I got B.
Which one?
B.
B? That's what I ended up putting too. This is one that I wasn't super confident in, but the reason why I put that was, where does it explain a dichotomy? Yeah, money or price level is dichotomous, meaning that it can be measured in monetary units, like price of a water bottle can be $5, or if you're not using money in your economy, it could also be, the price could also be a real variable, meaning you can trade, a box of Kleenex for a water bottle, and the price would be for one box of Kleenex would be one water bottle, and it wouldn't have anything to do with a monetary unit. So it can be both. I'm pretty sure it's B.
You said B or D?
B.
As a boy.
Uh-huh.
I got D.
D.
It says yet classical analysis is right about the economy in the long run. Over the course of a decade, monetary changes have significant effects on
where are you reading from?
See, it is on 17.1E, the last paragraph.
That's where I'm. The last paragraph?
Yes.
Okay.
It says, yet classical analysis is right about the economy in the long run. Over the course of a decade, monetary changes have significant effects on nominal variables, such as the price level.
Huh. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot better than my answer. I'm going to go with D.
I was just as confused on the first paragraph, because he was saying that it is a real variable, but it was also a
right.
I was really confused on that one until I read the last paragraph.
Yeah, I didn't read that, or at least I didn't read it closely enough.
That's where we went wrong.
Yeah. D. Okay. Number 10. Based on the quantity equation, M equals 100, V equals 3, and Y equals 150, and P equals C 2. Yep.
C.
You just plug it into that same 3 equals 150 times P over 100. And some simple algebra gives you 2 equals P.
Right.
Number 11.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose the United States unexpectedly decided to pay off its debt by printing new money. Which of the following would happen? People who held money will feel poor. Prices would rise. People who had lent money at a fixed interest rate will feel poor. All of the above are correct. I got D.
Same. Yep. And D, all those things would happen.
Okay, under the assumptions of the Fisher effect and monetary neutrality of the money if the money supply growth rate falls, then
A, B, C. I got C.
C. Yep. Also got C. Yep. Yeah, the real interest rate is not affected by the Fisher effect. Doesn't have anything to do with the real interest.
Okay.
Yeah.
13.
Yeah, 13. The inflation tax. I got D. It does all of these things. Yeah. It's kind of tricky, isn't it? I never really thought about that.
It is.
You know? It's tax on everyone that has money.
I was distressed to learn that we pay taxes on both the income and that it doesn't compensate inflation rate. They don't take in consideration inflation rate.
No, they don't.
Meaning that they don't do it by indexing the capital gains. They do it on the actual amount.
Right.
Which, man, that diminishes. No wonder my portfolio and the 401 fluctuates so much with these new policies.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
So anyway, question 14. Which of the following are U.S. taxpayers allowed to adjust for inflation for the purposes of income tax? I got D.
We're on 14? No. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I also got D. Yeah, they don't adjust it. That's
They don't.
A big pro for the debate.
For the government.
Well, it's but for the debate for gold, investing in gold.
Yes.
That's a big because gold is seen as like an asset that doesn't really inflation doesn't really affect it.
You know, and not to get political on either side, but with the death tax that they're talking about, not recently, but they were talking about it during the elections. That's scary stuff, you know.
Yeah.
When you have kids and you want to live them a little something, they want to tax that also. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that already kind of exists, especially
it does.
Especially for high wealth individuals. Man, they take so much of that. It's crazy. That's why really wealthy people become philanthropists. They would rather other people get it than the government.
Well, that's a good tax deferment. I mean that's the way to do it. That's right.
Exactly. What are we on? 15?
15.
Is it my turn?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Marta lends money at a fixed interest rate, and then inflation turns out to be higher than she had expected it to be. The real interest rate she earns is?
I got D.
Same. 15. I got D.
Okay.
It's lower than she expected. I think this one took. I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, I just felt like D was.
Yeah, I couldn't decide if the one was lower or higher.
Right. So she lends money. It's a fixed interest rate.
Okay.
And then inflation turns out to be higher than she expected. So that means that
Inflation devaluates your money.
exactly.
So the
Yeah,
higher the inflation, the less your dollars are worth.
and the lower the real interest rate.
Also,
Right.
the real value is lower.
Uh-huh.
It's okay.
Correct.
That's what I was
Yep.
struggling with. The real
Yeah. So let's say she had a 10% a 10% fixed interest rate, and then inflation goes up 3%. So that drops her real interest rate down to 7, and then also the value of that loan also drops at 3%.
Oh, okay.
They're both lower than what she had expected if inflation wasn't a factor.
That's why if you're going to buy property, try to buy property when the interest rate is really low and lock it for 30 years. Don't ever sign a note with the fluctuation interest rate because they'll eat you alive.
Oh yeah. Yep. Let's see, number 16.
16. When Haley states that inflation by itself always reduces the real return on her saving, she has committed the inflation fallacy.
That's correct. C. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's not always. Inflation isn't always such a terrible thing, you know, because inflation does signify growth.
Correct.
You know, it means that we are growing.
But the interest rate has to grow along with it. Otherwise, your money will devalue. Or you cannot take inflation rate and keep your prices of your goods and services, or even if you're an employee. That's why you gotta at least stay on par with inflation when you get a raise.
Right. Yeah. It's really a big balancing act. It's really interesting. And it all goes back to those factors of basically the quality, like human capital. Our human capital is growing because people's families are growing. And other, what's the other, our natural resources may be growing.
Technology.
Yeah, technology is a huge one. We're growing by huge strides. So you'd expect the inflation to go up because those things are going up.
Hey, do you hear on the news that the proposal they have on taxing industries that use robots instead of humans?
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
No, it's not, because that's how they're going to compensate for benefits for unemployment.
Right.
It's actually a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, I'm confident that we'll be able to find something for people to do. Or at least maybe I'm an idealist, but I kind of feel like they should go find something to do. I've had in the last 5 years, I've had over 15 different jobs, so I know there's things out there to do.
What I like about this class is that there's some fallacies and thinking that there are going to be no employment. Some industries do die, but others replace those industries.
Exactly.
And what we're doing right now, and getting a degree will put you in a situation where you can adjust to those displacements of old industries and welcome new industries.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only way out. Education.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, and robots aren't going to stop us from learning stuff.
That's right. All right, sorry guys.
Unless we let them. What are we on? 17?
Yeah.
17.
Okay. People go to the bank more frequently to reduce currency holdings when inflation is high. The sacrifice of time and convenience that is involved in doing that is referred to as shoe leather cost.
I got the same.
C. Yeah. Lindsay, you got 18?
Yeah, indexing the tax system to take into account the effects of inflation would by itself.
I got B.
Yeah, I also got B. Would end taxing capital gains. Yeah. What? Let's see. Why wouldn't it be
Or
D?
C, it would mean by itself mean an increase in average tax rates. Huh.
Would that mean that by itself? Let's see.
Well,
Index
because right now
system.
we're paying interest on real interest earnings, and we're paying interest on capital gains.
Right.
We really are paying interest on all of that through inflation. So if they do index that, if they average, which basically is the indexing is an average, then it would be ABC. Would by itself mean an increase in average tax rates. Huh.
Increase in average tax rates. Because I was also, this is one of the ones that I wasn't super confident in. I mean,
Just reading it right now and through our discussion, if we are, because again, indexing takes care of inflation, and if we are paying that kind of tax through inflation, indexing, what it does, it averages, right? It's an average.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And if it was,
I think
I do too, because B, that doesn't necessarily mean that it would just get rid of. You'd still have a tax on capital gains.
Correct.
It would just be more in line with inflation.
Correct.
Instead of taxing it by the amount without taking into account inflation. I think it's C.
I think it's C. I'll buy it.
Yeah. Glad we had that discussion. That's one of those ones that I was kind of confused about, but that kind of makes more sense to me.
Yes, sir.
You got 19.
Yeah. During the last tax year, you lent money at a nominal rate of 6%. Actual inflation was 1%, but people had been expecting 1.5. This difference between actual and expected inflation, I got A, transfer wealth from the borrower to you and cause your after-tax real interest to be 0.5 percentage points higher than what you expected.
I also put A. This one I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly why. I mean, it seems like.
Well, it kind of goes to say again, if you look at the nominal tax rate, and we know the nominal would equal inflation.
That's right.
Plus what's it called? Real interest, right? Something like that. Anyway,
real interest equals nominal interest minus inflation.
Minus inflation. So at the end of the when you get your money back, if you were thinking 6% nominal and inflation was lower,
and you were thinking it was going to be 1.5% inflation, so you were expecting
to be 4.5 exactly.
You actually got 5.
You got 5. Correct.
So that takes care of the second half of that. And then the transfer of wealth would go from the borrower to you.
Yes, because since they were expecting 1.5 to pay that, but they're only paying the inflation rate. So
they were expecting to pay 4.5.
Correct. But ended up paying 5.
They ended up paying 5. So they lost wealth. Yep.
I believe so.
Yeah. I think it's A. Yeah. You gained the wealth and then you also got a higher percentage than you had expected. That makes
Correct.
sense. Okay. Yeah, I'm sticking with A. 20. In order to maintain stable prices, a central bank must. I picked
I'm
C.
lost on this one. I was debating between A and C.
Yeah, I picked C because the interest rates are gonna go with the money supply. Well, wait, is that right?
It's true.
It's the money supply that really affects the prices.
They control the prices.
more money, the more money you have in the system, the higher the prices are going to go. And the central banks control the money supply, right?
Yes.
Because they, they sell government bonds. They sometimes just print money. They do those things to control the money supply. And that's as a result, that'll probably move the interest rate, but I don't think they control the interest rate.
Okay, so I submitted that, and we got 18 out of 20, A minus.
Huh. Okay.
So there's 2 that is wrong somewhere.
I almost think that it could be that last one.
It could be.
I was still
It
trying to
could be.
convince myself.
So,
But I'm okay with the 90%. Yeah.
I mean, I tell you, I started reading and nothing was sticking. I mean,
I really enjoyed this lesson. I wish I could have spent more time on it than I did.